Welcome into a brand new episode of WSI TV. Enjoy the show.
Welcome into another brand new episode of WSI TV. I'm Jordan Bishop, and I'm joined today by the one and only Jim Sampson. How you doing today, Jim?
Thanks for having me on.
So before we get to your to how the Bitcoin bounce hands you thousands, I want to say just subscribe to our YouTube channel and then go to WSITV.com and subscribe to the website so you can get access to the free WSI Vault. Now jumping into this content here, I want to first cover, and I'm going to ask you, Jim, what is Bitcoin?
So Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency that happens to use a technology called the blockchain, which is completely separate to blockchain, you know. And that's really all it is, to be able to send money to one another over the internet securely and getting rid of the middleman, the banks as it were, to send money from me to you or from bank to bank and so on. We need to have a secure way of transferring it, and so it's encrypted, hence the cryptocurrency, but it also needs this technology called blockchain to make it secure, transparent and accountable. Two separate things. The analogy I use is, if you were to go back to like the 90s, it's the internet was the big thing, and that is the blockchain equivalent, and the internet was here to stay, change the way we run our lives, do business, etc. Right. But cryptocurrencies are kind of like the dot-coms.
Yeah.
So it's like they're two separate things, and Bitcoin is just one of what is now many hundreds of cryptocurrencies. Right,
that makes sense. I mean, it scares a lot of people, the word Bitcoin, you know, but I'm sure the internet scared a lot of people back then.
Right.
And
right, and that's a really good point, you know, because if you were to go back in time, you were a lot of skeptics about the internet and websites, and now we just know it's just our lives, and everybody, I'm sure, wishes they'd have bought yahoo.com back in 96 or something like that. So we're kind of at that, I think, at that time again. So don't be frightened, you know, get your head around this, get on board, you know.
And the great thing I love about Bitcoin is it's like any of the stocks we look at, you know. You can throw it on a chart, and I'm going to throw up the Bitcoin chart for you right here, thanks to Stockfolio. And we've drawn some technicals on here. Jim, if you could just talk me through, first of all, the trend line that we see going across the screen horizontally.
Yeah, so that you've got the horizontal line there. I think it's around 10,000.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting point, because I'm a big believer in psychological lines. 10,000 is a big round number, one. Two, you can see that it had actually sort of bounced along this line, especially of lately, and carved out this, you know, support for around the 10,000 level, which I thought was a key level. It's psychological, it's technical. It makes a lot of sense that it might hold that position, or if it didn't hold that position, then there would be worse to come. And that's what we've seen this week, is that, you know, that psychologically important support line at 10,000 was violated, and then now we're looking at 8 something instead of 8,000 something instead of 10,000 something, and it has been as high as obviously 19,000 just not even that long ago.
So yeah, bouncing along that 10,000 line, as you can see on there. We are watching closing prices on here. Obviously intraday there's a bit of volatility there, but when it crashed under that 10,000, it just seemed to sink, and we've been seeing headlines, the death of Bitcoin and all this.
Right. So we've been seeing the headlines, the death of Bitcoin, for like the last 2 years now, and you're going to go on seeing headlines saying the death of Bitcoin. But really, what had happened was that huge spike up to 19,000, seemingly out of nowhere, was really just a huge burst out of its trend line. It wasn't sustainable, that burst. And you know, and it's just basically coming back down to earth. So, and it's right now there is an important inflection point. It's still right on its sort of what had been a trend line really for the last year. This upwards trend pushing up, and it's right on it right now. And I don't think this sell-off wasn't really about, you know, heavy selling as much as lack of buying, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, and that can do that to the price. You know, if there's not enough buyers there, the price is going to sink. You know. So it's not a big sell-off, and as you can see across the bottom of the screen there's not a lot of high red volume bars, which indicates heavy selling. So just moving on to the 200-day moving average we've got here. What do you see happening from here, where the Bitcoin price is right now?
Well, this is really the big question for Bitcoin right now. What it does next is going to be very critical for, you know, this trend. Because it's right on that point. It's right on its 200-day moving average, which is a key average. It must hold this level. If it doesn't, if it goes below that, then I see a lot more selling. I don't see this as the death of Bitcoin, certainly not the death of cryptocurrencies and blockchain. blockchain.
Yeah.
But it must hold this level and bounce from here. So it actually creates a kind of a low risk entry point if you were to just get on board now, because it's not to say it's going to go up, but if you lose, you're not going to lose that much because you'd get out if it breaks below the 200, let's say.
Right, yeah, and I just want to know also that you don't have to buy one whole Bitcoin here. You don't have to put 8,800 down. You could buy portions of Bitcoin. You know, if you want to buy half a Bitcoin.
Right. Well, through an ETF such as GBTC,
yeah,
it's like a proxy for Bitcoin, and you could just buy one share of that, and it's what, $18?
Yeah, it's I think it went down to 12.
Oh, so that's like $12. Right.
Yeah,
and that's an important line. I think $12 on GBTC is like an indicator that must hold.
Yeah, there's a strong line of support there. And you can also get involved in blockchain by trading stocks like Riot, RIOT, you know, obviously looking for the strong buy signal with that chart, which we'll cover another time. But of course, Bitcoin isn't the only horse in this race, is it, Jim?
No, absolutely not, no. The other big players are Ethereum and Ripple, and maybe other smaller ones like Dash, Litecoin, and so on we're looking at.
Yeah, I know Cardano is a big one, Stellar.
A big one, Stellar's making a move, but the league table, as it were, in terms of capitalization, in other words, the money that's flowing into these things, and you can see this is actually that Bitcoin was kind of like, had like a capitalization around 200-ish, and we're talking like millions or billions or something.
Right, yeah,
billions I think, and it's dropped to like 150. So it's losing capitalization. But you see, what's interesting about this is that although Bitcoin has been having this, dramatic correction, Ethereum has its uptrend has not once been, well, it's under pressure right now, but its uptrend is still intact, unlike Bitcoin. And what you've also seen is that the capitalization, the money behind these cryptocurrencies, Ethereum has been gaining, moving up that league table, as it were, catching up Bitcoin for the #1 spot. So this could be a case, Jordan, of what Bitcoin is losing. That money that would have been going into Bitcoin has been pushing into Ethereum instead, sustaining Ethereum an uptrend while Bitcoin has sold off.
Right, again, and wealth doesn't disappear, it transfers. So this money coming out of Bitcoin needs to go somewhere. Looks like it's piling into Ethereum.
And the lack of new buyers for the cryptocurrency market, looks like there's really been a huge transfer going on. And I think we're seeing why with things like, I think you talked like NASA, even. Because Ethereum is more of a commercial application, and it has more things like contracts built into the blockchain, the transfers, because there's a lot more to this than transferring money. And Ethereum is very much on the cutting edge of other applications for cryptocurrency, blockchain.
Yeah, I mean, very interesting to see NASA getting involved. They're looking to really secure their radio signals between satellites and back down to Earth. They want to make it instant. So, I mean, that's a big player jumping in on this. And as you can see on the screen right now, we do have that technical trend line. We are technical analysts, so we are looking at this. So, I mean, NASA can say all they want, but, we're really looking for this bounce off this trend line.
The truth is in the price. We follow the price and we study the price action, and then build our strategies around that for sure.
Exactly, yeah. And you can access a lot of these currencies through. I know we use Coinbase. There's plenty of brokers out there if you want to go that way. And
Ethereum is one of the few, I think, accessible ones that you can just go and get a digital wallet and go and buy some Ethereum, just like you can go and buy some Bitcoin. I see that moving forward as we evolve. If Bitcoin becomes the more retail kind of basic version, customer sort of version, as it were, but as the Ethereum is the more commercial version of things,
Yeah, so again, Ethereum, I expect it to do business to business with the intrinsic contracts there. I think that'll be used heavily in that industry. But yeah, so just keep an eye on Bitcoin. We're watching for that big Bitcoin bounce here, because it literally could put thousands in your pocket here if it decides to bounce off the 200-day moving average and move towards those 19,000
absolutely.
highs.
But the short answer to the question, Bitcoin is most certainly not dead, and in fact, I'm pleased about this correction. To make a bull market sustainable, you need these sell-offs. You need these, a bull likes to throw off the dumb money, as it's called, and the bull tries to take as few people along for the ride as possible, and this is just, you're seeing that in action right now. But ultimately, I see this as more of an investment thing than a trading thing, and I, in for the long term here, and using these opportunities to get in with more.
Yeah. So same principles applied to cryptocurrency as we apply to the stock market. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely. But I think we'll all be looking back in a few years' time, thinking, why didn't we just buy more?
Exactly. Well, I appreciate you being here today, Jim.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Thanks for watching the latest episode of WSI TV. Be sure to visit WSITV.com where you can subscribe for free with no contract and gain instant access to the secrets of self-made millionaires via the WSI TV Vault. So go ahead and claim this gift for free now at WSITV.com.